Are you the one who starts the best conversations on Facebook, WhatsApp, or in the group chat? If so, this is the podcast for you. Hi, I'm Eva.
And I'm Don, and welcome to Chat and Bother. This is a 15-minute podcast where we start conversations and you and your circle finish them. So go ahead and share this episode with a friend or family member so they can listen to it and you can talk about it together.
Good morning.
And good morning.
So this is part 2 of the discussion on irrational fears that came from 70s, 80s, and 90s television shows and movies. So in the first part, we talked about all of my issues that come from mostly cartoons, anvils falling from the sky. Oh, I had some other ones. Quicksand, of course, that's another one. Mm-hmm. Others I had just from like nursery, stepping on a crack and breaking my mother's back. Poison ivy, like there was just it's all ridiculous. But these are all things that I haven't really experienced, but I still wasn't done. I had more, and our 15 minutes was up. And I had so many more issues that I wanted to share and discuss. So we're going to get into those today. It's not a lot of them, but I still want to share them. And Don, you have a couple more, I'm sure.
Just a
few. So one of mine was hitchhiking. Yeah, it's crazy because they would tell you shouldn't hitchhike. And this was the 80s. Like, where am I going? I don't, it didn't make sense to me. Then they would say, and don't pick up hitchhikers. I don't drive. What on my bike? Like, what do you even mean?
As an 8 to 10 year old, what are you going to do with, like, where are you picking up a hitchhiker?
Right. And so I'm thinking, how often do people come across hitchhikers? Are my parents on their way to work coming across hitchhikers? Like, that wasn't a thing that they ever mentioned.
If you turned on a TV in the 80s, you're going to watch a show's going to come on and somebody's hitchhiking. I mean, you had a couple of shows. What was it? Michael Landon had that one show, Highway to Heaven. Another one was called The Hitchhiker.
I feel like Smokey and the Bandit had some hitchhiking in it. I feel like that's the kind of show that would have some sort of hitchhiking happen.
Was that the one? No, it was Cannonball Run, like where they were like hitchhiking.
You know what? Not Smokey. You're right. Cannonball Run feels like it would have some hitchhiking in it to bolster the shenanigans. Like, I feel like that's something that would happen. Yeah. But I never watched anything where like hitchhikers got picked up and killed or anything crazy like that.
It was always a safe transaction on TV. But
yes, like they would, have the hitchhiker get picked up by the trucker saying, "Where are you going?" And then they would take them to wherever they were going and have a nice little conversation. I'm like, what's so wrong with hitchhiking? But now we know, after you watch enough true crime on 2020, that throughout the 70s and 80s, people were picked up and murdered and dismembered and killed. But anyway, that's probably something we should have worried about. I don't know, but I had it in the back of my head. Shauner's on Instagram. She said one of the fears she had was being kidnapped, just general kidnapping.
Huh.
And I remember people saying stuff like, you go keep playing, you go end up on the side of a milk carton.
Right.
But I didn't know what gets you on the side of a milk carton. Like, I didn't know.
But whenever I heard that was like a threat, right? Like, keep playing with me, you go end up on the side of a milk carton, boy.
Like were they gonna kill you? Like, what was gonna happen?
They were gonna be the reason you were missing. Like that
First of all, we didn't have milk cartons. That's the first thing. Our milk came in a jug.
Hold on. I get that. But did they not sell milk cartons?
I'm sure they did, but a quart of milk was not, or whatever. What is that? A half gallon of milk wasn't going to do anything in our house.
Yeah, I guess
that was useless.
We didn't start buying it until we had kids, and the milk that we bought was expensive. Like, we started buying organic milk. That is expensive.
We bought gallons when it was garbage milk. We bought half gallons and the little cartons when it was Lactaid, or if it was the soy milk that was expensive. Buttermilk comes in a tiny thing.
Yeah,
and I don't think they put
skinny thing.
Yeah, but they don't put missing people on the side of that.
They won't get too much coverage
They
with
won't get
that.
a lot of coverage on the side of a buttermilk carton. There won't
I
be.
can't even tell you the last time I saw
Mm,
buttermilk in the refrigerator
not
sitting
our
there.
fridge. We don't have a use for it. I think we used
No, I
to.
mean at the grocery store. I don't think I've seen it. Like,
Oh, I went through a buttermilk biscuit phase and we would
yeah,
buy it then, but yeah, I
but
don't think.
they didn't sell that at the big box stores. Like,
Oh, I don't know. I never went looking for
you don't buy your
liquids.
buttermilk in bulk.
And that's disgusting. The idea of a
That seems
yeah,
like an
well, yeah,
irrational fear to have.
that's horrible. Ooh, that made
Yeah,
me burp. That's disgusting.
so look, as far as we were just blissfully unaware of all the dangers that probably were around us, we really thought more about things that probably shouldn't have. I spent a lot of time worrying about rattlesnakes. I live in
Ah,
Delaware.
yes. Now I probably should have been worried about rattlesnakes, but all of the
Rattlesnakes and
shows we
cobras.
watched, if I was in the woods, I'd be listening out for rattlesnakes. And I'm like, Eva, you
Right.
can't hear it because you're crunching on all these pine needles. And I don't think,
Right.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that where we lived, rattlesnakes were a thing, but isn't that more of like a desert
That's more the
type
Southwest.
snake?
Like, you gotta get at least to Texas before you start thinking about rattlesnakes.
Because we had snakes. Like, there's plenty of snakes in the South, but I don't
Yeah.
know them to be rattlesnakes. And we actually didn't see the snakes. We would see the snake skin left over.
Right.
They
I
would
mean,
shed and leave that somewhere. But I don't believe either they were really well camouflaged, but I definitely did not hear something that sounded like a baby rattle coming towards me. I never heard that.
we would see them in the summers when I went to Alabama. We'd see them all over the place. They'd
The
sit in the middle
skins
of
or the snakes?
no, they're snakes. They'd sit in the middle of the street trying to warm themselves up in the mornings.
Oh, you know what was another snake fear?
What's
That if you roll over it with your car, it'll get into the wheel well and get into your car. I
that?
don't know who told me that.
What kind of kung fu snake were you?
I have no idea what kind of snake survives me running over it at 65 miles an hour. I have no
I
idea.
mean,
But apparently,
snakes are
snake
quick.
revenge. Snake
Snakes,
revenge.
snakes on a plane.
It's snake revenge. If you roll over that bad boy, it will wrap itself around your wheel and jump up into your car and seek out its near murderer, the attempted murderer. It'll
Like
seek you out.
I know it purposely go after the driver, right?
I'm assuming so. I get maybe it depends on the wheel you run it over with. All the snakes I saw dead in the street, they didn't look like they were too vengeful. They were dead. They didn't make it. They didn't make it. Another thing, food fights. Did you ever witness a food fight in your cafeteria?
Witness, maybe not so much. My best friend and I started one and then rolled out.
So you didn't see it. You threw something and ran?
We were throwing things at people and got them to think that it was other people because we were the
But was
ones.
it a big food fight like they have on television, or
We
was
didn't.
this just
We didn't sit around to find out because I think I had already had enough detentions, and at that point, I think it was going to escalate. So I was like, "Hey, look, we gotta go."
so you don't even know if there was a food fight? I
No,
never
it
have
was
seen
like
one.
other people got suspended for it.
I hope they're not looking for you. I hope they're
Well,
not
I
looking for
mean,
you. I
it's
hope
been
those
over
people are
30
not looking
years.
for you.
Hopefully,
Yeah, but
hopefully they don't remember.
remember how long you said you could hold a grudge. Remember that?
That's true.
Remember that?
That's true. That's
Mm-hmm.
true.
Mm-hmm. Y'all go back and listen to that episode. There might be somebody looking for him right now. So I never witnessed a food fight, mainly because the schools I went to, those bougie people were not about to throw that expensive food that their parents had packed. I mean, how messy can like a sandwich be? They didn't really have a whole lot of soups, mixed vegetables, the things that you see in most, and there was never a milk
No
carton.
spaghetti. No spaghetti.
No,
No milk
no.
splatters. No.
Right. So y'all got milk cartons at school. That was another thing that I
Oh
thought
yeah.
was fascinating because
Yeah.
we didn't
Wait.
have
What
the
did you
school.
get?
You didn't get anything. You brought your lunch. Nobody's throwing food from the house.
This was
Yes.
a private school, right?
Yes. There was
You see,
no.
this was a public school. That was that.
Oh, so you were young. See,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about those high school food fights where somebody screams food
Oh
fight.
no, this was middle school. I think it
Oh,
was.
okay. Well, I never really had a lot of time in schools that had lunch lines or places to get food from the school. So nobody was throwing their house food because that means you don't have anything else to eat. Like that's
Oh no,
it.
no, no.
You're going to be
No.
hungry. So, what are some other things you were afraid of that just didn't happen?
Well, it wasn't it didn't happen. It just wasn't Lyme disease from ticks. We spent an inordinate amount of time in the woods. We had ticks pulled off of us all the time. My best friend's house was back up against some woods, so we would climb the fence and go back exploring behind his house all the time. His dog always had ticks because of the trees from those woods. The dog would get deer ticks all the time. Then his dad would pull them off of us. I mean, some of them were massive. Like,
This is a disgusting story. I just want to share that with you before you
yeah.
move forward. This is it's a terrible, it's disgusting.
So his dad had these surgical clamps, these
I
surgical
don't
like
like it.
tweezers that he would use to pull the ticks out of his hair, my hair, the dog's hair.
Hair. Oh, help me.
Yes.
All right.
And
And
like,
no one, so you actually weren't afraid of this, is what you're
I
saying.
wasn't afraid of the ticks. I was afraid of Lyme disease.
But
Like
when
they
did they
started
start talking
talking
about Lyme disease?
after, I don't know, as we started getting older, like probably why we stopped going into it.
I have never had a tick. I feel now that I should have been more worried about that because we actually had deer. We had deer, so we should have had deer ticks. We had cats, which means we should
Yeah,
have
but
had
your
all
cats
sorts
weren't
of
outside
things.
all the time, were they?
Yeah, they were. We didn't have no inside cats. These cats went in the house. That's not now that.
Listen,
No,
I don't know.
no.
I'm not a cat
Mm-mm.
person, so we've never
We didn't
had
have
a
animals
cat.
in the house. Animals belonged outside.
We had a place in the house that they would be quarantined to. The dogs would be quarantined to. It is like a porch kind of area.
That's not like in the house or in your bed or nothing like that.
No. Not at most garage or porch, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we didn't. We had those feral yard cats that we would just put things out there. They didn't. We didn't. They weren't cuddly or nothing
Didn't
like
they bring
that.
you presents?
Yeah, they would bring snakes and moles, snakes.
Moles?
Yeah, we had moles in the yard. They'd bring those and just drop them at the door, like to say thank you. They're so sweet. So things that we should have been concerned about, because apparently we were concerned about a lot of stuff that we didn't need to care about. Oh, before I forget, I was waiting, and nobody ever did it, for somebody to offer me drugs. They kept telling us someone's going to offer you drugs. And when
You were
they
disappointed at this?
And when they offer the drugs,
Did you
I am
have
supposed
FOMO?
to say no. I'm supposed to say no to the drugs, but no one ever offered me the drugs, so I could say no to them.
You're the one person that was affected by that this is your brain on drugs commercial.
Any questions? Yes, I had questions. When are they going to bring me the drugs? At what point am I going
It'll
to
make
get
you
the
feel
offer?
good. Like, did they give you?
Oh
it'll
yes,
make you feel
yes.
good?
The after school specials. None of that ever happened to me.
Come on,
None of it.
everybody's doing it. It'll make
Everybody's
you
doing
feel
it. Well,
good.
who are they? Because I don't know any of the everybody who's doing it, and no one is sharing. So
Okay.
anyway, I never got an opportunity to say no to drugs.
Okay, that's hilarious.
And now when I got older, I'm like, oh my God, all of y'all were doing drugs, and you just didn't
You
share.
didn't share. You just
You
had
didn't
stingy
offer-
friends.
All y'all are out here high
You're
as a kite,
stingy
and
friends.
nobody is offering me the drugs. So things that we should have been concerned about, you know how they kept telling you to eat your Wheaties? Maybe not Wheaties in particular, but I should have had more bran in my life because
Yeah.
now I need whatever probably was in that brand.
Going with the same thread of PSA commercials. Did milk do your body good? Like did you have your regular share of milk? That's part of a complete breakfast. Like, did you
No.
follow all those?
No, gosh, I couldn't understand how people drank milk in a cup and just with food. That is a
Wait,
hard.
what?
No, you don't just
Come
drink
on.
it. That's
Yes, you
disgusting.
do.
No, you don't. I didn't even drink it. Look, if my parents were not watching, I was not drinking the milk at the bottom of that bowl. The cereal bowl, I'm not drinking that. I'm
Are
going to
you kidding me?
tiptoe
That's
right
the
on.
best kind of milk.
No, that is
Well,
nasty. I'm going to
maybe you chose
tiptoe.
bad cereals. That should
No,
have
the
been an
cereal was
irrational fear
great.
for me. You know
I'm
what? That
telling
was
you,
probably an irrational fear for me. That rainbow colored milk at the bottom of Fruity Pebbles, I didn't want that.
yeah, now my milk was sufficiently colorful, but it
I
tastes
stuck with
nasty.
chocolate cereals for that very specific reason.
I'm pouring that
Cocoa
out.
Pebbles, Cocoa Puffs. Like, I would do that because at least it's chocolate milk when I'm done.
The idea
Or
of
Frosted Flakes is just sweet milk when I'm done.
that's
But I don't want to.
oh my God.
I don't want to see no powdered Fruit Loop or
Sir,
Fruity Pebbles. Like that's maybe it's irrational, but
why are
I
we?
don't know rainbow milk.
I'm gonna be sick. Why are we drinking sweet milk? Why are we drinking it at all? First of all,
Because if I
why are we
gotta drink
putting
it
milk?
and I knew I had to drink it,
No,
I would rather have chocolate milk left
I
over
don't.
than.
I also didn't drink chocolate milk. I didn't drink milk like that.
Oh, hold
People
up, hold up.
who
We need to
no,
reevaluate some things now. Come on.
mm-mm,
You didn't
no,
drink chocolate milk?
no,
Not even you?
no. You mean chocolate milk water in a bottle? Does that sound like something I would consume? No. Now my brother drank it. That's why we had the gallon of milk and not the half gallon because he
Yeah, look,
drank Nesquik
we
and
kept that or Nestle, one of those little cans. Like my
Ovaltine. Like
mom
they
would
drank
buy a
that.
jug, and that would keep me, from raiding the refrigerator after school because I'd have a glass of that with,
That's
probably more
nasty.
more chocolate in it than I needed,
I find that to be the most
and then I'd
horrible.
run
What?
outside.
That is a glass of cow titty juice. I don't want it. That's disgusting. It is
Why
only
is
to
it
wet
gotta be
cereal. The purpose is to wet cereal and to put
make
in mashed
biscuits?
potatoes. Yes, it is a thing that you cook with. You do not pour a tall. Oh my God.
Oh, come on! So you
That's
never had a milk mustache in your life?
now I will say just because those ads had the milk mustache, I would
Oh,
pour a little bit in
you
the bottom
little
of a glass
poser.
and then put it on my lip and then run to the bathroom, not knowing that they used glue and other stuff to make those milk mustaches in the magazines. So by the time I got to the bathroom to look at my milk mustache, it was
It just look
gone. It
wet.
was just wet.
Your
Yeah.
Kool-Aid mustache would stay, but the milk mustache was
I am brown. I don't have Kool-Aid stained face. That's not a thing that happened to me. That is for the melanin light. I didn't,
that's
those
right.
things, those little things right here that the little
The
mustaches
corner.
that like the corners, I never had that. I mean, I tried. I can't say I didn't try to get some sort of stain happening, but it didn't work. I just soaked my lip in it for a while, see what happened, nothing. So anyway, you got to go to work.
And you need to go to work.
I'm probably scared of other things, but bringing
Wait, and we
them
haven't
up,
hit the bottom of the list yet?
yeah, bringing them up is not making my anxiety any better. So,
So they're not old fears.
some of these are still very valid. Some of them are still very, very valid. Like from the previous episode, the fainting unexpectedly and busting myself in the head, that's still a thing. Not too worried about stepping on a crack and breaking my mother's back. Not too worried about food fights. Now that we brought up hitchhiking, still a little wary of that. And still not too concerned about anvils falling from the sky. That hasn't really panned out. All right, well, we will talk to you all again next week. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for joining us for Chat and Bother. Go ahead and like our Facebook page and share this episode with people that you want to chat with or just feel like bothering, or both. Visit our website, chatandbother.com, for our episode guide and other ways to connect with us. Take care.